Okay, guys. So here we are, beginning again. We were working on the bank dataset, and we were talking about that. Okay, it is a raw dataset. So let's get the feel of the dataset at hand. And you tried something: structure, first row, first column, head. Yes, you have already seen that. All of these tricks, and in my opinion, the best one. Let's view. So view sometimes make it slow because actually you are trying to view the entire dataset in tabular form. But anyway, you can do that. Then we tried a little bit of calculations. Yes, you have seen that. Since in structure you saw, what did you see? First things first. So now begin. Now I want you to pay attention to what are the things, what are the pointers from a data scientist's perspective you should keep an eye on. Many a times you will have columns. Why this structure is important? Age is integer. It is telling you something. Age is integer means they have reported age in years and neglected months because there is no decimal part. It is an integer form, right? Job, character, salary, again integer. Again, it is not having any decimal part. That's good. Marital status, education, this and that, many things. Many a times, what may happen is like marital status, or maybe better, is there gender somewhere? Gender is not here, but say targeted. Sometimes what will happen is many a times data people do this. You will face these kind of things. For example, there will be a column gender, and how you will find gender is represented like how gender should be represented. It should be male, female, female, male, and so on. Sometimes it may happen that somebody will represent it like 0, 1, 1, 0, and so on. Why this happens? This happens for several reasons. There are. Could you give me one? Why somebody will do that? Anybody? Not even a vague idea? If there is not even a vague idea, then maybe you can tell that. No idea. No idea. Only geo. It happens for some reasons like so that one reason maybe is that there is no gender bias. If I am analyzing things, I only know 0 and 1, 1 and 0. I don't know which is which. I don't know which is male and which is female. So this is one reason people do that. Another people, well, these gender kind of variables, in a way, it is true and false. Yes or no? Yes or no? Whenever there is, we call it binary or we call it binomial variable, which is basically it is categorical and it has only two categories. It is categorical, but with only two categories possible. So in a way, I can call it rather than male and female, I can call it true and false. I can call it yes and no. I can call it zero. So that is another, just for the ease of takeoff analysis, it is also done. However, my problem is different. Think about it. If I have recorded gender as 0 and 1, 1 and 0, what is going to happen? What is going to happen? When R will read the data, you see R has automatically decided that these are numbers, so this is integer, these are numbers, so these are integer. If there has a decimal part, it will call it something else, numeric or double, what you already know. But when there is this kind of column and it is represented by what? 0 and 1, 1 and 0, R is going to think that this is also a numeric column. These are also numbers, no? R is going to treat it like numerical, and R will think that number operations are fair here. You can do all kinds of numeric operations, but tell me what is the average of male and female? Mm, what is the total of male and female? And getting the idea? Due to this denomination, the structure R को numeric will see it as a numeric structure, but actually it should not be numeric. It should be a categorical variable. So we have to manually convert that into character or factor whatsoever. For now, what we see is it is all good. So that is why it is a good idea to check structure. Is everything what it should be? Okay, so far so good. So you see that there are balance and okay, you can do some numeric operations and you tried your hands on with that. Yes, you did that. So yes, we can always see that. Then we talked about anomalies, missing values. So that's one. How to check missing values? Can you give me a code how to check missing values? Whether there are missing values in this bank dataset. Write it properly. No? Is not n, that is just a function. How to use it? Okay. So let's see missing values. We know the function is dot na. I'm saying is dot na bank and I execute this. Pay attention to the screen. You know what has happened? What has happened? You have this data set. Is dot na started checking whether this is na true or false, whether this is na true or false, whether this is na true or false, and so on. Then it started with this column, whether this is an true or false, whether this is an true or false, and so on. You realize how many values you have? You have values this multiplied by this. 4,52,000 values. And they are true and false, false and true. What do I do with this? Yes, exactly. Now you are coming up with things. Right? So again, just like it is not a good idea to print the data set, it is also not a good idea to print these true and false. No? So let's see is dot na bank. That is not helping. So let's check sum is dot na and we get to know how many NAs there are. Now I know there are 12 missing values. Now comes something new. I know that there are 12 missing values, but where are they? I still don't know. So there is something better. It is called column wise sum. So when we deal with data set, columns is a better function. Here in the chat box, you can copy paste or maybe try it just by typing it. You people got this? Everybody? What is call sums doing? It is also giving you some, but now it is giving you some column wise, right? It is giving you some for each column differently, right? So now you know that these 12 missing values are in cell. So let's not worry about it. Hmm. Moving to second anomaly. So you have just seen how to watch for missing values. So you can check for missing values various ways. Print some, call sums. Let's not worry about what to do with that. We will do something with that. Or maybe you can give some idea. What should we do with that? What to do with missing values? There are missing values. We know now. What can we do? No, nothing. Okay, either with replace it with mean or something. Okay, okay, chalo. At least it is an idea. Yes, you will see this. There is a popular convention that when there is missing records, you should replace it with what central tendency. What is the central tendency? What is the central tendency of it? Some data, median, and more. Okay, no problem. We will come to that later. So let's not worry about it. Over over the next month, I will try to teach you that central tendencies are these, but we don't replace missing values just like that. I'll try to do that. I don't know to what extent I would succeed. Okay, let's go to next. What is other data anomaly possible in this data set? What else it could be? It could be, okay, duplicate records, right? So how do we check duplicate records? Distinct function. I was coming to that. Distinct function. It is not available in R. It is available in SQL. So there's a base function. There's a function called duplicated. It says duplicated. So when we check duplicate, you don't need to type it. I will send you. Rep is a function. It is rep is not a function to check for duplicates. It is to create duplication. Now I am checking. The data is already with me. I am just checking whether it has duplicates. I run duplicate and it again prints what is the result of duplicated again true and false. What it is doing? Think about it. Which one do we call duplicate? How would it check for duplicates? Think about it. This person is management. This person is also management. So are there duplicate records? Acha, low. His salary is also 1 lakh. His salary is also 1 lakh. Now they are duplicate. 10%. Okay. This is also married and this is also married. Now I am very sure they are duplicate. Getting the idea? No, not exactly. If three values are matching, it doesn't mean they are duplicate. When they are duplicate, I am saying when all of these values and all of this person's values all are exactly same. Now this becomes a suspicious case. Yes or no? Now this is a suspicious case. Now I can very safely say that perhaps this is a duplicate record. So this is how duplicated function works. It starts with first row. Now first row is by default unique. It will always be unique. Yes or no? It cannot have duplicate. It will now pick second row and check if all the values of second row are matching with first row. If yes, then it will say true, otherwise false. Even if a single mismatch is there, it will say false. Then it will pick row number 3 and it match it with 1 and 2 both, one by one. Then it will go to 4 and pick it and match with all the preceding rows. And accordingly, it will assign true and false, true and false, true and false. But what has happened? There are 45,000 rows, so you end up with 45,000 true and false. What do I do? Again, problem. So yes, we don't check duplicate like that. Let's count them, no? Here in the chat box. Tell me how many duplicate records are there. Okay, you find it out. So sum of duplicate current. If we do that, we will find out how many truths are there, and the count of true is giving me number of duplicate values. Do you want to try Colsum's here? You have seen some, and we saw that Colsum's did something fantastic with missing values. Want to try that? How many of you are trying that? I think yes, it is of no use. You are anyway checking entire row. So what is Colsum's there? There is no column wise sum. It is only for entire data set. You are checking the entire row, no? Okay. How do you remove that? Now you have the anomaly. You know that there are missing records in your data set. Okay, let's wait. We will worry about that later. Just a minute. We will come to that. What could be other anomaly? Somebody, somebody said that earlier. I saw that, but I miss. I didn't come to that. Somebody said about outliers. No redundancy. No for now. You know that there is a problem of case mismatch. there can be a problem of case mismatches. So how do we correct case mismatch? There is a function for case mismatch, two upper and two lower. I'll show you something which is not visible already. If I print that dataset dollar housing column, well, it is character, so they are coming in double quotes, and I'm just printing them all. What if I convert this to factor? What if this was factor? You remember what factor tells? If it is a factor, it tells me what? It tells me how many levels are there. Yes, exactly. How many categories are there in this categorical value? So if only if this housing column was factor, it is not factor now. I am just trying to treat it as factor for now. And if I see, what do you see? It is showing that this particular column has three categories: no and yes and yes. You remember those? Chota Rahul, Bada Rahul, Majale Rahul. You saw that? Small Rahul, big Rahul, middle Rahul. It is that kind of thing. It is just because these are written in different cases, R is treating them as different categories. Now, by common sense, we can see, humans can see that these years are not two different things. They mean the same. The level should be 2. My analysis is going to go for a toss because of this anomaly. So that's why. How do we do that? So the function is one function. Think about it. What I'm doing here is right to left, right to left. Let's read this code just like Urdu. I'm saying bank under housing, convert it to 2 upper and assign it to what? Don't assign it to something new. Overwrite it. Correct? If I do that, let's see what it has done. It has converted everything to uppercase. Seems good. Similarly, there is a function to lower which does exactly what it is named. If I convert it to to lower, let's see, it has converted everything to lowercase. If I check this as factor thing, let's see, is it okay now? So is it okay? Yes, it is okay. Now there are two levels, yes and no, the way they should be. So maybe you can choose uppercase or maybe you can choose lowercase. That is up to that is all your choice. But yes, one thing which is definite is that there should be same case. Uppercase, lowercase. If it is there is a mismatch, it is going to again trouble me in analysis. Here in the chat box, maybe you can copy paste. So far so good, guys. All set. Let's remove this part now. Now these are the anomalies which we have talked about. These are the anomalies. I can just throttle it. I can just put it this way. What I mean to say is, these are the anomalies. I can I can look for them as if I have faith that they are there. It is just like you give chemicals to a food, sodium plus chlorine. What it will end up doing? What it will make? Yes, the salt. You give one sodium, one chlorine to a genius. What he will make? Again salt. So these are that kind of analogy. If somebody is calling data analyst or data scientist, he or she should be, just be sure that let's look for that. Then comes the job of, then comes the real job of the genius in you, real job of training which we are going through. This is simple, this is nothing. Somebody said redundancy. Talked about this, right? There can be redundancy in data. So tell me, what is the redundancy in this data? You have the data set. What is the redundancy in this data? What does redundancy mean? Exactly. Correct. The data which is not required for my analysis. So that's where we come to a more important question. Another important question, which is, do you realize what data you have? What is this talking about? What are these columns? What do they mean? What you are trying to analyze here? You have a data set of 10 variables. That means it contains 10 columns, 10 vectors put together into a data frame. They are containing information of some 45,000 customers of bank. Okay. Now we are talking. Which one seems irrelevant to you people? Which one seems redundant here? Or maybe let's crack this into let's break it down. You realize what is this data talking about? Who is your client? What this data is carrying? What is the information they try to gather? It is a data set of bank. Some bank has recorded a data. Whose data? Their customers. So that is first thing to get right. It is not employees. It is customers. Now what are they recording? They have age of their customers. Okay, that is simple. Yes, banks do have your PAN card, so they can calculate your age. So they have your age. They have the job profile, which profile you are working in, management, technician, blue collar, and there are people who are unknown, who have not disclosed what job they do. Okay, okay, entrepreneurs. Then their salary, what are they earning, this and that, this and that. Okay, very fine. Then there's marital status. Again, simple. Education. Whose education is tertiary, secondary, unknown. What does it mean? I want you to strain your brain out a little bit. Not like matlab, headache strain, not like that, but okay, maybe start working it. What are these columns containing? Education, okay, they are not mentioning like us 10th and 12th and graduate and PG and doctorate. Not like that. They have their own coding. They have own coding and they have coded everything like primary, tertiary, secondary. Some those who have not disclosed, they have kept it as unknown. Okay, so far so good. What is targeted? Okay, before I keep going on, please tell me, am I clear? I am not seeing responses, people. Am I clear? Are you feeling or are you already bored? The thing I am, the thing I want you to focus on is something important. That's why I'm going through all this. Voice clear? Both others confirm. Voice is clear. Okay. Question clear. The things I'm asking you, you are getting that clear. If you don't know the answer, you are not supposed to know the answer. That's okay. Perfectly fine. But at least respond me, no? At least start working. Okay. Very nice. Good. Yes. Put your mind to work. Okay. I was talking about targeted. Well, what do you think this column is telling you? Whether we can give a loan or not, contact by a bank or not. Okay. Yes. Correct. Exactly. I'll talk about that once again. Per month targeted. Per month targeted, had it been Shankar, there should be a number here that how many times we have targeted. It is just yes and no. You get a call from banks, no? We are coming up with a credit card with a zero offer and this and that, and you just need to apply. You will not document less, no lock-in period, no this and that. You get these calls, yes or no? I receive a lot. God damn it, I have to change my number for something. Every day my phone buzzes 10 times that buy this credit card, buy this insurance, buy this and buy that. What is that? This is being you are being targeted by someone. So it is that column. Okay. Then there is balance. How much balance they are maintaining in their account. It is something that kind of thing. So okay, again, housing. Just now you corrected this column. This column had case mismatch problem and we corrected this. But what does this column mean? Correct, Ashutosh. It is not about housing loan, it is about whether the customer lives in his own house or it is a rented accommodation. It's that. See, when bank is targeting you for credit cards, so that is this data actually is. The bank is targeting their customers for loan and they are keeping their track. It may be a personal loan, it may be a credit card, it may be a card loan, whatsoever it is. And then they are trying to gather this data. Housing gives a certain advantage to bank. Those of you who have applied know, they will know. And if not you, then ask your parents. They will definitely know. They will tell you. Bank is very much interested in knowing this. If you just think about it, no, practically. If you are living on your own address, you will not run with the bank's money. because you live there. You will not leave your home. So bank can any day at least follow up with you. What about rented accommodation? I'm renting here someday. I'm renting somewhere else next year. What will the bank do? How will they follow me? Right? So that is why bank is very much interested in knowing that where do you live? Is it your own accommodation or is it just a rented abode? So that is this column. Yes, yes, no, 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 yes. That's it. Then there is contact. Okay, this must be telling the contacts. You targeted the customer and what type of contact did you make? Was it okay? Mostly unknown. Then there is email, maybe somewhere cell phone, this or that. We will see in detail what is that. But that is what this column means. What I'm trying to do is, do you understand the data properly before you analyze it? So that is of paramount importance, people. Understand what your problem statement is. What are you trying to do with this data? Then you will do something about this data. Somebody said that this default column seems redundant. So let's drop it out of this data set and analyze. Think about it. This is the heart of your analysis, this default column. What is bank interest is in knowing we have given credit card to these people or we have given car loans to these people. Some mostly don't default. Okay, some default. Default means they could not pay. They could not pay in time or they could not pay at all. Those are called defaulters. So that's what bank is checking whether this customer defaulted or did this customer paid right on time. So think think about it. This is the whole and soul of your analysis. If bank is hiring you to analyze their data, what will they ask you? They want to know. They will really want to know that if this had been the past trend, can you analyze for us? Can you analyze for us which one of these are important indicator of default? Perhaps there is a pattern. The people with a particular job role tend to default, or the people with a particular education tend to default. Maybe basis marital status, basis maybe age group, basis maybe their compensation. Yes or no? That's what analysis is. We are trying to crunch this 45,000 rows, 45,000 customers data to find out whether our next year जो customer, the customers coming next, whether I can say something about them or not. Now coming to something very important, not important but interesting. This always, you know, lures me. Targeted seems like redundant data. Do you think it is redundant here? I think not. Don't you think it would be interested? We targeted the customer. Think about it. We targeted a customer and the customer defaulted. I mean, if I see somewhere here, of course, bank can target anybody. But don't you think somebody will take their class? Somebody will take them to account. Why target such a person who may tend to default? right? For now, I am not saying, yes, that's what I wanted to see. Maybe, maybe. So remember the keyword, guys. Being data scientist, it should be always your first, first instinct. Maybe or maybe not. Rest I will tell when I will check the data. So we don't work on perceptions. We don't work on, preconceived notions. No assumptions. ठीक है, fair. So don't just just by general convention and say that okay this seems redundant and drop it. Not like that. So redundancy is a delicate thing. Same goes for outlier. We will see that later. A delicate thing. A delicate thing because who is outlier? Who is outlier? Tell me again. We talked about this. Any extreme value? Is it so? If there is age of people going, these are age of customers, and then there is a customer 150 years old. Is that outlier? Hmm? No, there is no bank customer who is 150 years old. It is invalid value upfront, right in your face. Get the idea right. That's why again I am saying I have marked 3 stars there. It is a delicate thing. You are getting the idea. Way far from routine value? Yes, it is way far from routine value. Routine values are going from 18 to 60, 65, maybe 70. But does it make this an outlier? No. Take a get the difference right. So this is just black and white, directly invalid value. Now think about another scenario. Think about another scenario. Say these are salaries going on. Salaries are varying from a few thousands to maybe a few lakhs, and then I see a salary. There is salary, this kind of salary. What kind of salary? 12000, and then there are other 000, and maybe then there are a couple of zeros. What do you say? Maybe I am saying. I'm not saying I'm 100% sure that this data content. I'm saying suppose it happens. What do you say? Is this outlier or is this invalid value? What do you say? What do you say? Maybe or maybe not. I don't know. It may be invalid value. I should become careful when it comes to these kind of values. It is very easy to define that outlier is outside routine value. There is a clear distinction for that. Maybe I talked about. There are invalid values and then there are outliers. The key difference is Outliers are not invalid. This customer who is 150 years old, that is definitely invalid value. Perhaps my data entry operator wanted to mark 50, by mistake entered 150. So invalid value. There cannot be any customer with age of 150. However, this seems a different scenario. I would have to check whether this is a wrong entry. It may be a wrong entry. This customer was me. The data entry operator wanted to enter this. Well, maybe he was a bit high and entered this. Another case, here's somebody dropped it. Maybe in your customer list is Mark Zuckerberg. He also needs a bank account, no? So maybe he's in your list. So getting the idea? Now Mr. Zuckerberg or Mr. Sundar Pichai, it is not their mistake that they are different from other people. They are way far away from routine values. Then I am calling them outliers. So they are very genuine people. These are very genuine values. Right? There is nothing invalid about it. It is just that they are way beyond from our routine values. Yes, no, maybe you getting the distinction right. Getting this distinction of outlier and invalid values. Tell me quickly because it calls for another question. Yes, Ashutosh, if I see that it is a value which is far from our routine values, it not usually it doesn't happen. But when I look closely, I find out that this is genuine. These people don't usually happen, but this time it has happened. It is actually there. Then it is an outlier. Right? What about others? Why so serious? Call out means it could be valid but not invalid. Oh, what is that supposed to mean, Monarch? I think it could not could be. There is no question about it, Monarch. It is valid. Outlier is always valid. It is just that it is not routine. Which calls me to another question, which brings us to the next question. But I didn't go into that detail then. But now it's the time. You got the distinction right? So outlier is not what usually happens, but it is always. It is when it happens, it is genuinely there. It is genuine person. Why I am calling it anomaly then? Why is it anomaly? It will affect the central tendency. It will affect. Okay, mostly you are saying the same thing. Actually, yes. Actually, yes, but not. Actually, maybe let's discuss in detail. Why I am calling it anomaly? Well, again, Again, it is a three-star fellow. It is a delicate thing. You have to be very careful while dealing with them. Reason being, whether it is anomaly or whether it is not, it will be decided by what is your target of this analysis. One idea that it is anomaly for me. The value is valid. It will wonk out the statistics of my data. If there are people, remember perhaps we saw this example. Did I give that example to you people? The students of a university? Maybe I talked about? No? Okay. So anyway, maybe salary, whatever, you will get the idea. Suppose there are salaries of some people here. So there are several people and they are earning something, maybe in euros or USD, we can consider. So these are four people. You see the average? You see the average? It is something. Now see if there is an outlier. If there is an outlier, you see the average? So it will work out the mean, the arithmetic average, the standard deviation, variance, everything. So that is the idea behind it because we are calling it anomaly. Now, taking it practically, suppose there are students of some university. They are taking their age. What is the age of grad students? 19, 20, 21, maybe 22, and again 18, say 19, and so on. Right? Now, say there are these kind of 300 students. It is going on so on. There are 300 students, and more or less all are lying in this age group. So average would be nearly somewhat. Say it is 19.83. Okay, let's consider 20. Right? Now suppose there is an outlier. There is an outlier who could not complete his or her education at the right time, and but no, they are zealful people and they are doing it now, right? The problem is their age is something else. Say for example, I'm just taking examples. What's the average this time? Yeah, I talked about this. I want you to show the practical implication of outlier. This person is clear-cut outlier, and it is a genuine value also. I have no problem about that, no doubt about that. Suppose in university wanted to come up with some policy, come up with some, say kind of infrastructure or maybe some education policy for students, and for that they needed average age of a student. So what is actually usually the average age of their students? It is 20. We just saw that. So every year and year on year, we are having average age 20. So the policy should have been designed for average age 20. But this person, this particular year, somehow there is a person outlier there, due to which you are saying average age is 25. Your policy, if you believe this data, if you work on this average, you will end up fixing a policy for average age 25. You will never get the students of 25-year age. Every year they are 19, 20, 21, 19, 20, 21, 19, 20, 21. Every year this is happening. It was just this year. It never happened before. It won't ever happen again. So that is the problem with outliers. I hope you got the certain idea now. Everybody, those who are saying no, okay, everyone you remembers, others don't. Okay, so we will come to these kind of anomalies later. For now, okay, some things we have fixed. Let's go ahead. Let's enjoy some analysis. I want you to do sort the bank balance column. I want to see how let's talk like manager to analyst. You are the analyst, I am the manager. I'm asking you something. I don't know coding. I want to see the top 10 balance amounts in our bank today. You have the data. I want to see the highest bank amount, balance amount. Go ahead. Maybe give it a try. Just drop me done if you are done. Okay, all in all, I could see many methods. I'm showing you a few. You could have done any of that. You could have done any of that, and maybe okay. Tell me which one do you like out of these three? Hmm. बढ़िया, good, Rehan. All set. Nothing wrong. Mona, that is, okay, you have sorted the column, but I need, what do I need? I need top 10. So you can sort decreasing or increasing. My, what your manager wants is top 10 results. He doesn't want the print of these 45,000 values. So I have dropped in the chat box, and whichever you like, all three methods are okay. Okay. The good part is these are some things you can use to print. These are the things you can print. Sort, okay, same result. Maybe tail, same result. Maybe head, same result. Eventually you get the top 10 records. You can assign this to any of this For now, they are printing because I am not assigning. So whichever code I use, it will just print. I can assign it to a new variable also, so that now a new variable is available for me for any further calculation. I can do that, right? Now I am saying something else. I'm making a question, I'm making a query. I want to see the complete record of the person who is having maximum bank balance. I'm getting the idea? I am saying I want to see the complete record. See, I can see the what is the maximum bank balance, this much is the maximum bank balance. But who is this person? What are the other details of this person? Who was this customer? What was his age? What was his or her default status, marital status? And all other details. Can you do that? Go ahead. You got the question, everybody? Voice, is it clear now? Jyoti, you got the voice? Guys, okay, I'm repeating the question. I want to see entire record of the person who is having maximum bank balance. Recently, your manager wanted to see the maximum bank balance. Now he wants to see who is this person. Who is this person who is having maximum bank balance? Remember we talked about which family had three kids and one of them was which max. What it returns is, if I want to find maximum bank balance, it is max balance. If I use which dot max, it will tell me the index number. Index number, it is telling this is the index number, this is the row number where bank balance is maximum. Now it's easy. I am saying bank square bracket. Which row do I need to go? This one. I don't need to manually type it. I just write which max. Row number will come. Comma, which column? Which column? I am saying, Jyoti, you have put here 1 to 10. Maybe that was not needed. I am saying blank. I am saying all the columns. Row number is this. Which columns? All the columns. I end up with having this kind of record. Okay, no problem. So same goes for other which functions. मिनिमम बैंक बैलेंस हो जाएगा आप लोगों से बताना जरा लेकिन this time I am tweaking the question. Just pay attention to the question. I am tweaking it a little bit. I want to see the job role of person who is having minimum salary. I am asking a very practical thing. I want to see who is the poor kid, who is earning, who is having minimum balance. What does he do or she? What is such pathetic job role that they don't have balance? You getting the question? I want to see only the job role of person, only the job role, not entire records. Go ahead, give it a try. Okay, several answers, and many of you are doing it this way, that way. Monarch, no, it doesn't work that way. Jagdish and Bharat, you have just nailed it, killed it, the way I want. Nikhil, you too. Check it out. Check this out. What was asked of me? I needed to see maximum. We already saw. And now I need to see which is minimum. So, okay, minimum bank balance is in which row? I don't know. In some row. If I put it bank, comma blank, it is going to give me entire row. Well, I can have entire row. My question was a bit different. My question said, I don't want entire row. It is row number 12,000 something. I want one particular column. Which column? I want just to see the job role. How can we do that? Perhaps let's not say all the columns. Let's say which column. So there are several ways to mention which column. The column number, all good. It could be column number. It is telling me the job role is blue column. Maybe column name. You have done that. Okay. But then there is a better way, a more popular and more practical way. Number, for number, you have to manually see which number is job column. Okay. For column name, again, you will have to see whether is it uppercase, lowercase, whether it is written like job, job role, or some other acronym. You will have to manually go and see. I'm saying let's not mention this here. Remember the dollar there? I'm saying I'm choosing the column here. And which column? Dollar, job column. Now I'm mentioning which row? Row I can mention in the square bracket. Column is already selected. Same with the okay. Having said that, all are good. Okay, so nothing is wrong in these. All are correct. Methods are all correct. None of them is wrong. It is just that which seems better to you, which seems easy to you. So it is always advised that use this dollar facility. It is uh, it is very powerful and very powerful. This is the way it is done. Okay, well then, I think we can break for a few minutes. You already know there is call waiting, but not even for that purpose. It is almost an hour. It is time that you walk around. Let's not sit continuously for very long. You know, that's another thing which lockdown has brought upon us. So it is important that we break for 10 minutes in every hour and do something. Nothing like gym, but at least a movement. Okay, so it is 12:05 on my clock. Let's meet at 12:15. Meanwhile, make up your mind because we got a bit late. If it is not a problem, please tell me that also in the chat box that you have no problem extending a little bit today. So we will go up to 1, or at least we will try to do that. Okay, very fine. So see you there. Hi again. Hope everybody is back. And okay, it seems many of you agree to that. Those who are not saying anything, I assume they can stay. All here, please ping me quickly, guys. So you guys are getting the idea that how your question may be. Remember we tried indexing like row number, column number, row name, column name. See, when it comes to row, somebody called me that how can we mention row name and how do we do this and that. Usually you will not get a question like that. That go to row number this. Yes or no? Just now you got the taste of your manager talking to you, right? So somebody who has asked you for this, they will tell you the condition. Not that I want to see the customer number 44,000. Yes, exactly, Jyoti. Now these are max condition, minimum condition. Now there can be custom conditions. What's custom condition? Pay attention to my question. I want to see the records of only those people who have balance more than 5,000. Getting the idea? Can you try that? That's where the parent which function comes. Now we will come to that, Monarch. Just let's go with this first. Everybody got the question? Ashu, hope I am audible enough now. Ashu, is the problem solved? Was clear now? My question is, I want to see the records of only those customers who have bank balance more than 5,000. Very practical question your manager is asking you. Maybe we want to come up with some policy that we will only issue credit cards to those people who have a minimum level of bank balance. Otherwise, no, we are at risk of default. So how can we do that? Just drop me in the private chat. Fantastic. Harika is first to go. Okay, seems good, Abhimanyu. The logic is fine. Get your operator right, Abhimanyu. I am saying only customers who have bank balance more than 5,000. Ashutosh, you seem to be very comfortable with deep light. Okay, so wait, no problem. So how many customers are there? Okay, I'll have to call a few names. What you people are to? Aditya Abhimanyu, Clinton Ashar, Jagdish and Manohar. Uh, Almost no noise from you people today. Nathan, Rayadu, Saicharan, Shankar, and Vishesh. Guys, if you don't respond, I would, it may get me into thinking that everything is going fine with you people. There is no problem at all. Yeah, Ashutosh, nothing wrong in that. It is just that you are getting values. Yeah, this code will fetch you values of balance, it will not fetch the records. Abhimanyu, perhaps you ran something else. Okay, maybe. Anubhav, you see what you are doing is you are doing where bank balance is exactly 5,000. I am not saying exactly 5,000. I am saying more than 5,000. These are two very different things. Even for exactly 5,000, you are using single equal to. That's why it has to be double equal to sign. Remember, when we compare, we use double equal to sign. It is as simple as that. I am saying, let's create a new variable df1, data frame 1. What will be data frame 1? It will contain bank dataset. But which bank dataset? Only those rows which are greater than 5,000. Columns, okay, well, all the columns. So all the records will be there. But only those people who have bank balance more than 5,000. Mona, the brackets. For which function you have closed bracket, which bank balance and bracket close. Which essentially needs the condition. The condition has to be true or false. According to that condition, which will fetch the records which are true. For the indices which are true. Bracket, you have closed bracket before the condition. Okay, so now DF1 has the records of people. They are all the people who have salary, balance more than 5,000. So that's one. Okay. Now comes the fun part, the good part, that which function can accommodate multiple conditions also. You have seen the cases of multiple conditions. 7,745 records. Guys, maybe you played around with the duplicate thing. Did you remove the duplicate values for by some method? Because I have not done that yet. For everybody's sake, I am just moving ahead with slow cooking. It is okay. Then it is because uppercase lowercase mismatch is still there in your record. I have corrected uppercase lowercase anomaly. Remember? Maybe you have not done that. That's the only possible problem I can think of. Manu, you have not done it. You have written it. You have not executed it. Maybe execute your code from the starting for once. Read the data again. Correct the uppercase lowercase problem, and then check this df. It will work. You're still getting different records. Okay, do this. Try this for once. Read the bang.csv here in the chat box. Convert everything to lowercase here in the chat box. And let's see who have bank balance more than 5,000. Only these three lines. Could you run it again? Maybe see what happens. It should not come. 100 rows don't come different just by chance. Anybody else getting a different number? It is a difference of 100 rows. It should not happen that way. No, the number, there is one number on my screen. It is 2845. Everybody getting this. Those who are not getting this, who are they? Jyoti was there, Abhimanyu was there. Abhimanyu, Jyoti, now you are getting no. You must be doing something different. No, Anubhav, doesn't work that way. Double equal to sign for comparison of exact value, whether they are exactly equal. If you are checking for greater than sign. If you are checking greater than equal to, so greater than and single equal to. Everywhere we you don't use double equal to. Double equal to is just for exact comparisons.
Hello, Alok.
Yes,
Abhimanyu this side, sir. Sir, in our console section, it is still showing when I executed df underscore one, then it is still showing 2745 rows omitted. And in environment section, it is showing 2845 observation of 10 variables.
It is because you are saying those are omitted entries which it will not print. See, it will print something and then it will show what it has omitted.
Okay. So I think earlier yes, actually, sir, earlier we didn't insert that query into any new vector or you can say object.
Maybe you
So
are
that's
just
why.
printing it all together. You are printing everything. So it would print 100 rows
Yes.
and then it will say that others
Yes.
are omitted and you are seeing something here after that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
This way. Omitted. It has printed 100 rows and the other 2745 it has omitted because, well, what will you see if you print? You have already seen that there is no point printing everything.
Yes, sir. Got your point, sir.
Okay. Okay, then you already know there are multiple cases. You can have multiple conditions. Your manager is having multiple conditions now. I'm saying something. I want to see. I will only talk to those customers who have bank balance of at least 5,000 and who have bank balance more than 5,000 and salary more than 50,000. Otherwise, I'm not willing to give them loan. I'm at risk. Human default. Can you see how many people are there? You know these multiple conditions, no? I have two conditions now. I am saying two conditions now that balance should be more than 5,000 and salary should be more than 50,000. I only want those customers to be entertained. How many are there in this data set? You got the question right? Maybe take a minute, take a few seconds. Ping me in the private chat if you get the query. Give me the answer. Maybe how many customers do you think? So that is and case of conditions. You also know there can be or case of conditions. Remember? What is the or case of conditions? See, for example, now your manager is worried. Your manager asked you to shortlist only those customers which have, I'm saying two conditions should be true. Balance should be more than this and salary should be more than this. Now I am worried because I have very few customers left. I don't have customers to pay the, to approach. These are only barely 2,000, not even 2,000. So I will end up with flow business. So now my question is, okay, let's relax these conditions a bit. Let's relax these conditions so that I have more database, more customer base to approach. So I am saying, okay, but there should be condition. The condition now I am saying, okay, either bank balance should be more than 5,000 or salary can be more than 50,000. If even one of them is true, I can look for it. I will talk to such customers. Can you tell me how many customers are there? They are such. Yeah, go ahead. You just have to copy paste and tweak this code. Again, there are multiple conditions, but I am saying now this is for case. Either one condition can be true. If both are true, very fantastic. How many people are such? Go ahead. Maybe I can also have a look. Okay, very fine, very fine. I suppose now there is or case of these conditions. I want to see the customers whose balance is more than 5,000 or salary is more than 50,000. So most of you are getting this right again. And now there is not much to explain. You already know. All condition is represented by this pipe operator. Other than that, everything else was mostly the same. It is just that the case has changed. Now, earlier there was and condition. I wanted both of them to be true. Now there is or case. I need only one of them to be true. Going good? I am saying a question now. You will code for that. I want to see the people whose job role is management. So far, my conditions have been on numbers. Can my condition be on category? Yes, it can be on category. So this is the case. For some reason, your manager wants to see the people whose job role is management. Maybe he's targeting some signature product. So please go ahead, try that out. Drop me in the chat box, private chat box, not to you. Well, many people have pinned, many people haven't pinned. Okay, Hasta, finally, correct. Fantastically done. All good? The problem is something that you should know. Management has to be written exactly like this. If there is uppercase, lowercase, a spelling mismatch, whatsoever, or doesn't know it, right? So yes, that is right, Jagdish. You will have to match the exact name. That's the key here. Which brings me to next question. Is get ahead with that also. I want to see only those people who are not in management. Pay attention, who are not in management. Go ahead. How do you want to do this? Let's find out who are in management, and we will subtract the number of from there. Are we doing it that way, or can we do something else? The code I want to see. For this, I want to see the code. Are you using it right? Correct, Ashutosh and Mansi. Fine. Right, Nikhil. Badhiya. Good to see. So that is the not operator, just like you see in SQL. You saw that in SQL also. I'm saying the not operator, which not equal to management. Anything will do, but not management. So that is not operator. Haji. Thank you. Okay, very fine. So these are some condition-based accessing. Usually you will come across these kind of things. You will have to access the data based on a condition, not on like index numbers. Is it going okay? Tell me, now is the time that before I proceed, let's take a let's have a quickie feedback. How do you think it is going, people? Is it way too slow, way too fast, way too boring, way too confusing? Okay, again, three options: B, C, I. Boring, confusing, interesting. Uh, I have to do that time and again with you people. B, C, I. Go ahead. Okay. Seems like I'm doing something correct. Chalo, good. Okay, now this brings me to uh, next page. Acha. Interesting but fast. Okay. Okay. So thankfully somebody is calling me fast. Usually I get that it is I get a bit boring in this phase. Last connection was about the not operators, Joseph. I wanted to see the people who are not in management. This one, the highlighted one. Finally, Jyoti speaks up. You know, I am never spared. I am never spared. I am always blamed of being boring. Okay, maybe I'll try to strike a balance again. Let's go to something. Let's find out missing values, how are they impacting me, and what could be done. Could you find out? Can somebody please tell me what is the maximum bank salary? What is the amount somebody is drawing, which is maximum amount salaries? Give it a try. I want to see the amount of maximum salary in this database. What is the maximum salary somebody is taking? Just want to see the amount, nothing else. Write the question. Anybody able to do that? Please ping me on the private chat. Whatever happens, tell me, what do you see? How do we find out max? If I have to do it manually, how do I find out maximum salary? Yes or no? This is something you will do. You will start comparing first two values, whichever of them is larger, you will compare it with the next. Whichever of them is larger, you compare it with the next, and so on. What's happening here is once you encounter any missing value, so what is the algorithm comparing? There is a value and it is trying to compare it with NA, and it is trying to figure out whether this is greater or whether this is greater or are they equal. Problem, this is missing value. This is a value, but it is not available. So how can R tell you whether it is greater or is it lesser or is it equal? So that's why, how does R revert? What does R say? R says, yes, max of that is also not available. I don't know that. And yes, Mansi, that's what we come next to. You got this problem? Why is this happening? So that's where another parameter comes in, which is what? I asked you people to get into habit of checking help of functions, right? A function which is doing something, but it is not doing my way. So maybe we can check help of max function, right? When I check max of max, help of max function, so this is the document, and I see, you can find out, you can read the description. There is a parameter na.rl, which is a logical indicator whether missing values should be removed from this calculation. Okay, by default it is false, so missing values are there. Na.rm stands for remove NAs from this calculation, whatever it is. So now what I am doing, I am saying show me the max of bank dollar salary, remove any values. Since if there are missing values, R cannot tell you. Now you are telling R, then at least show me what is available, what is maximum among the available values. Leave apart the missing values. At least that you can do. So now R does exactly the same, and now it is telling you that okay, maximum salary is how much it is? 120,000. Sounds good. Can you calculate the average salary of our employees, our customers? Now, I want to see the average salary of the people available in this data set. Please go ahead and ping me back with an answer, possibly with a code too. Jyoti, you here now, or should I drop the question again? Right? You people getting the idea? If I directly try to calculate mean, again, same problem. Same problem will happen. Mean is arithmetic average. You want to do this plus this plus this plus this and divide by number of values, the n. Now you wanted to add these all. R doesn't know how to add this, how to add NA. So it gives the result is also NA. So now we are saying leave NA values, calculate mean for what is available at least. So what do we see? What do we use? Again, maybe you can check the help function of mean. So for all mathematical operations, for all mathematical functions, there is this parameter available. So it is inbuilt in most of the mathematical functions. I want to leave missing values, and then I want to see what is the average of what is available. So it's 57,000 something. Okay, this is also good, but there is a catch. There is a catch. What is the catch? We say there are this column. You have something this column, and I want you to calculate average of this column. Now, recently you saw that R will try to add everything and divide by number of values. So there are 6 values, but 2 values are missing. 2 values are missing. So average would be NA. Now if I say NA dot RM is equal to true, so average with NA dot RM is equal to true. Very good. So missing values will be left from the calculation. So it would be 5 plus 25 plus 50 plus 10, and it will be divided by number of values. Now divided by number of values, divided by what number of value? 4 or 6? What is n now? Is it 6 or is it 4? Getting the idea? This is something MCQ stuff for you people, and in every batch there is somebody who makes this mistake. Every time, every goddamn batch I have seen, somebody, this one or that one, will make this thing wrong. If you are being interviewed for R, these kind of things are very normal. Yes, actually 4. It is NA.RN. Remove any value. So the NA values will be removed from the calculation, from numerator also and denominator also. So no missing values. Want to give it a try? Done that? Okay, sounds good. Even if you want to see, you can see that. Yeah. This was your vector. I'm calling it U. What is mean V? Nothing. What is mean V when we do NA.RN is equal to true is 2215. What it has done is, think about it. It has added these values which is 90, and 90 divided by 6, how much it is? Yes, not 6, it has to be 4. So that's the answer. Okay, how will you will receive the question? You will receive the question almost like this, that there is a vector V which looks like this, or maybe they will just say that this is the code written. What do you think the answer would be? This is the code written, 2 lines of code, and what will be the answer? 4 options. Ho jayega? You would be able to do that? Won't make amends? Promise? Won't lose merit for one stupid calculation? Confirm. Okay. Let's see how you fare. So, okay guys, so this was some missing values thing. How missing values are dealt by mathematical functions. So I think we can call it a day for today. Tomorrow again, we will start off with we will again dive a bit deep into this data set. Okay guys, so I'm turning off recording, but if there is any question, you can stay and I'll take that. If there is no further question, you are free to leave. Bye bye and take care. I think it's going well if we stretch it to 1 p.m. So if it happens in routine from 10 to 1, so I think everybody can accommodate that. Okay, very welcome and bye bye and take care. Stay safe.